Okay, test, test, test. This all looks good and all looks well. Hi, Ken. Hope you're doing well. I've just got this new setup all working, so hopefully everything's coming through. Hopefully the audio's all coming through. Hopefully the picture's coming through, and hopefully the door audio will be coming through in a minute. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whatever it is, good, whatever. Welcome to this impromptu live stream. So, Mrs Smudge is due to give birth to our little baby Smudge, any day now, at some point before Friday. And I hadn't had a chance to prepare a video for this week, so I thought, you know what, let's get on and do a cheeky live stream. And I thought I'd do a mix. And you might be thinking, why on earth are you mixing on a mastering channel? A couple of reasons. Firstly, progressivesoundaudio.com. There's links. You see the website address in the bottom corner there. I do mixing services as well as mastering. Now, I don't want to kind of move the mixing side of things over to mastering in the box. I want this channel to be pretty much as much mastering focused as well. And I am going to be releasing content on Progressive Sound Audio YouTube channel. So there's a YouTube channel set up, not much on there at the moment, but there will be stuff coming very soon. But I spoke to Billy Morgan a little while ago. Billy, fantastic chap, great friend of the channel, and he did a collaboration through Sphere, Persona Sphere, a little while ago. And we collaborated on a song called Nowhere. And it was just a fantastic collaboration, lots of different people involved, so many great musicians from all over the place, mainly in the United States, but people from around the world. And it was mixed by Rich Cresswell. He did a fantastic job, and I got to master it. And I spoke to Billy about doing a Mastering 101 series. I've been thinking about some of the content I've been doing on the channel. Whilst I love doing it, I'm a bit conscious of the fact that there's bits or concepts that are a little bit all over the place. And whilst it might be good for someone who's a little bit more down the line when it comes to mastering, I really want to kind of do almost kind of like a bare bones, real back to basics kind of 101 style series. So yeah, so that's going to be the plan. So I spoke to Billy, and we're going to do a breakdown and do a 101 series on the song Nowhere by Billy Morgan and Friends. And we'll do a full mastering breakdown. And I may do it in stages. I don't know if it's going to be live streams or we're going to do it in individual videos, but I really want this to be kind of a very much kind of a 101, how I approach things from start to finish. So I thought we'll do a cheeky little live impromptu live stream now, and we'll go through the mix of that same song. Yeah, so it's just going to be my mix process. There's not many tracks on here. I think there's only like 15 tracks on here, so it'll be relatively straightforward. And we'll go over to Studio One in a second and get it all set up. That's great. Thanks, Ken. So the sound looks all good. That's great stuff. I want this live stream. We're probably going to go on to it's just coming up 1 PM UK time. We'll go for about an hour before we go and pick the kids up from school. I don't want this to be anything too serious. I just want this to be somewhere for you can come along, let's have a chat, make some comments in the chat section. If you've got any questions, please let me know. And I want this just to be kind of a bit more of a hangout. We'll go through the song. I'd say ask as many questions as you want. If you've got any ideas and opinions and things like that on the song, leave them in the comments section or in the chat, and we'll go through them as we go. So if you fancy a bit of banter, I'm always up for a bit of banter. So fill your boots. Just nothing too rude that might offend some. I've got pretty thick skin, but I'm not sure everyone's maybe got the same thick skin that I have. So let's head on over to Studio One. Okay, so hopefully you can see this okay. I've gone through it. I've had to do quite a bit of optimization because my big screen is an ultra wide QHD, and it's not very good for live streaming, be quite honest. So if you see a lot of black marks on it, it's because it's an ultra wide QHD. I've tried doing all sorts of optimizing and it's not coming through very well. So what have I done in Studio One so far? All I've effectively done is I've imported the tracks, and I've set them up into the colour scheme that I prefer. So you'll see all the drums here, the bass, we've got the guitars, we've got piano, synths, and we've got some lead vocals. I'd just like to point out in the not in the chat, but in this video description, if you want to practice your mixing on this song, you can do so. This is available through the Cambridge Music Technology website. Billy has made this available for people to download the multi-tracks, and you can practice mixing this song in your own time through the Cambridge Music Technology website. there is a link in the video description down below. So if you want to try it and practice this one, you can do so through that link. So once again, I've just got everything set up, and I just go literally kick, snare, hats, toms. In fact, I like the toms there. We've got the hats, overheads, and the room. Bass, and we've got the guitars, we've got piano and synths, and we've got the vocals. And then what I'm going to do is just do some real basic setup really. Let's start with, the way I like to set things up is start with some buses. So I'm just going to set up some real basic buses. So we'll go kick, we'll do a drum bus. So we'll highlight the tracks, add bus for selected channels. I'm going to do drums. We'll do a bass bus. And we'll just do that. I like a guitar bus. So let's do piano synths. I'm not too worried about that. And let's do a vocal bus. So if there's anyone who doesn't know too much about buses and why you use buses, I love buses because it allows me to use multiple processing on some tracks. So let's say, for instance, I just want to compress the drums as a whole. I've now created a bus. So rather than putting, say, compression on each of the individual tracks, I can just use a bus. Simple as that. And then once you've set your individual panel, your fader levels, you can then go through. If you want to reduce the whole drum kit overall, you can use the fader on the bus. So there's lots of different uses for it. One thing I just want to do here is click in the options, and I want to there we are, keep bus channels to the right. And if we do that, just so I've got a bit more easy access to the individual faders. So I've got my buses there, I've got my individual tracks there. Let's start by taking a brief listen, and let's see where the individual levels are for the tracks. So I'm just going to quickly play this now, and hopefully I've done my job and not going to blast your ears out. I'm just trying to go and flicking between the two screens here, so it's a little bit, I've got to get my head around this new setup. So what am I actually looking for here? So the first thing I'm actually doing is I'm just looking at levels. Some people like to normalise tracks before they start their mixing. I'm not too worried about normalising, but I do want to make sure that we're getting some good level from the tracks before we get started. I'm making sure things are also not too hot. So where am I looking? I'm looking for peak levels roughly around this -12 mark. It doesn't have to be spot on -12, but if you've got something that's either too loud and it's coming in close to 0, then I can go through and I can just clip that down. But if there's something that's coming through too quiet, I can do likewise, and I can turn it up using this little box here. So let's take another listen, say more towards halfway through the song. stuff. Okay, that sounds about fine. So, one of the most important things that I find that really kind of helps get set up is to start by doing a static mix. And the way I'm going to do that is literally just highlight all the tracks, faders, 0. And this is where you want to start setting an element which you feel is going to be probably the base foundation of the song. This is the way I approach it anyway. So one of the things for me is I know that the vocals are pretty much going to be driving the song. They're probably the main element for me. So I'm really going to start with the lead vocals. Let's get the backing in. And then once I've got the backings in, I'll start with them with the drums and the bass, go to the guitars, and then we'll look at the pianos and the synths. So let's just go through getting some basic fader levels.
I'm lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories. You are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn.
So what am I looking for here? I want to get that level to around about -12. Now, gain staging is so important. It's probably one of the most crucial things, because what you don't want is the total sum of all your tracks to be hitting your master track here and clipping. So if I start with my lead vocal around -12, by the time I get the total sum, it will give me way ample headroom before I even start getting into plugins and things like that. So let's go forward a little bit and let's get the backing vocals in.
You are there, I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere.
So this is another, all of this is going to be basically a personal preference. Where do you want your backing vocals? Do you want them to be more up front? Do you want them to be a little bit more laid back? You can do them however you see fit, and this is probably one of the things where we'll go back and we'll go through each individual element as time goes through. So let's now go to the kick.
You are there, you are there, I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you are love, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you, our love, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth. You are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath me. You're anywhere understand. You lift me up. Your hands are there to hold me. You are faithful, you are love, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from, you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, Lord. And there's nowhere that I can run from, you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're right by my side. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. Yes, you're always.
Okay, so we got the drums in place, the bass. At this moment, I want to get the guitars in, and then we can decide what we're going to do with the overall level of the bass, how forward we want the bass guitar. Electric guitars, because these two are the main rhythms, I'm just going to highlight both of these tracks, right click, and I want to group selected tracks, and then just put, just do that for rhythm guitars. And then what that's going to mean is now I've got the bass level set, whatever I do on one is going to do on the other. So let's take another listen.
I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from, you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me. And there's nowhere that I can run from, you, nowhere. Lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories. You are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from, you, know.
Okay. Let's have a look now at the synths. And let's see where the synths sit with everything. So right around here.
When I'm lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories, you are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from, you, nowhere that I
Okay, so we've now got the drums in their bass positions. We've got the drums in the bass. We've got the bass there. So drums in their bass positions. We've got the bass guitar moved up. We've got the two main rhythm electric guitars, and we've got the synths, and the vocals are thereabouts. Does everything sound okay your end? We've got 3 viewers on the stream at the moment. How does everything sound? Is it coming through okay? I'm having to turn my own internal monitoring volume up. So is everything coming through the stream okay? Hopefully it's all coming through. Let's start now. Unless we've got a couple more bits to kind of move. All of this is going to probably subject to change, so we'll make little adjustments as we go through. So let's now start with the intro and the piano. Great stuff. Thanks, Kim. Okay, so let's work on this main guitar here. I'm going to put this as, in fact, electric guitar 2, electric guitar, double track, electric guitar 3. I know this is kind of, I'll put more intro, but I think there's a kind of a, is this a double track solo part? I'll have to double check in a minute. Let's get this intro.
When I'm lying in my bed, with me, Lord. Yes, you're right by my side. and you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side.
Okay, cool. It's a good start. I'm not too sure what I want this lead harmony. It's very, very kind of top end, and I just wonder, we might need to kind of do a little bit of high end EQ on it, just to kind of just tame it somewhat, and then bring it back in. But I think that's got a good, nice bass balance. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the chat, and we'll once again, I'm always open for comments, suggestions, bit of banter. I won't come out with the dad jokes just yet. Okay. Let's go back to Streamlabs. Right, fantastic. So, well, now we've done our rough static mix. Now let's have a quick look here. What do I want to do first and foremost? I normally start by doing a little bit of processing on the vocals, and it's more, in fact, no, we're not going to do that first. What we're going to do is start doing some filtering. So if we go to, click that one, and then we'll get our little bar back up here. I can move these down a little bit now. I don't need quite so much space. Just some little adjustments with the faders. So let's go and have a look on the...
When I'm lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories, you are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath me. You're anywhere and everywhere, you are there, you are there. When I can't stand, you lift me up, your hands are there to hold me. You are faithful, you are love, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearful.
Okay, so just some basic filtering here. So to take out the low end of the vocals, don't really need anything below 184. And then with the guitars, I'm taking out the lows. So we are taking out from 106 hertz below to create some space for the kick and for the bass. And then the top end, there's no real information. I've put it at 7.35k.
And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you.
There's just some sizzle at the top, so I've just taken that out in the filtering. Now bass, this is quite an interesting one. So let's go and have a look at the bass now.
When I'm lying in my
Okay, what I'm really looking for is the correlation between the bass and the kick. So I wonder if we can add some filtering in here to see if we can just clean that real low end up to kind of give the kick some definition and allow the bass to have its own space.
Lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories. You are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath.
Okay, so we're not doing too much. I mean, it's only, we put it less than 60, but it's just taking out that real low end rumble just to kind of take away some of that horrible low end, which is going to allow the kick to kind of breathe a bit more. It's not going to be the finished article, but it is just a little bit of filtering just to kind of clear everything up. And then I'm going to leave the drums as they are just for the time being. Now let's move back on to the vocals. And one thing I just want to do is just add a little bit of, just a bit of gentle compression. Let's just see what we can do here.
Lying in my bed, lost in thoughts and memories. You are always with me, Lord, you are there. When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see.
Okay, before I do that, let's go on and actually we're going to have a look at some mix effects here. I want to do this on, I like the brick console, so let's have a look at this. What's your thoughts on the level of the vocals? How is it sitting in the overall balance? For me, I'm not entirely sure if it might be a couple of dBs too loud, or if it might be a dB or so too loud. Let me know your thoughts in the chat.
When I'm lying in my, you're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath me. You're anywhere and everywhere, you are there, you are there. When I can't stand, you lift me up, your hands are there to hold me. You are faithful, you are love, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. right by my side. Flying high, you're the wind beneath me. You're anywhere and everywhere. You are there. You are there. When I can't stand, you lift me up. Your hands are there to hold me. You are faithful. You are love. You are there. You are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me. You make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, Lord. And there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're right by my side. Lord, yes, you're always with me. And there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath me. You're anywhere and everywhere. You are there. You are there. When I can't stand, you lift me up. Your hands are there to hold me. You are faithful. You are love. You are there. You are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me. You make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me, Lord. And there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're
Okay, so we just had a little bit of the VT1 channel strip, and we've got a little bit of compression going on 4:1. I was getting around about 3 dBs worth of gain reduction. I really wanted to get a relatively fast attack so it clamps down on the peaks, but I wanted to release pretty quickly as well, because if you do a fast attack with a slower release, then you're going to get a much more sustained compression. And I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to still have those kind of that life and dynamic, so I've kind of done a relatively slow release, a relatively fast release, so it clamps down quickly and releases quickly, so it's taming those peaks. The thing is though, it's bringing out some of the S's in the vocal, so I just want to see and have a look what we can do with some of this EQ going on here.
in the darkness, you see me. You make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me. And there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere
normally helps if you actually look at the plugin that you're actually using first. Because looking at this, you've got this high frequency peak and low frequency peak buttons here. So that's actually telling me these two are obviously high. So that's obviously your high frequency band. That's obviously your low frequency band. And then you've got low mids and high mids. So this high frequency peak, that's actually putting a peak onto this one here. So what am I trying to explain? So this one suggests to me, if this is off, that's going to act more as a shelf. Whereas if you put this one on, it's going to act as a peak. This will be like a high mid peak. This will be a low mid peak, I would imagine. And this is going to be a low, if this is off, this will be a low shelf. And you can do it plus or minus. So if you want to do a reduction shelf, you go that way. Addition shelf, you go that way. But if you click this here, it's going to turn it into a peak. That's the way I'm interpreting it. You can tell I don't use this channel stick much often. I'm trying to stick to native plugins only. In fact, let's just take that out. I'll leave the compression aspect on, but let's go in and let's put in the Pro EQ.
When I rise on the wings of the dawn, your hands are there to guide me. From the heights of heaven to the depths of the earth, you are there, you are there. I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. In the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from. And you're always with in the darkness, you see me, you make the night shine like the day. Wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me.
Right here, when it says darkness, listen out for the S's.
In the darkness, you see me.
And then if I bypass it,
In the darkness, you see me. In the darkness, you see me. You make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from. You nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. Yes, you're always with me. And there's nowhere that I can run from. You nowhere that I can hide. You're always with me, Lord. You're right by my side. When I'm the eagle flying high, you're the wind beneath me.
okay, I'm going to stop that right there. I'm having trouble at the moment really trying to hone in on that kind of area, because the problem is when you take out some of that area, I don't want to do too much of a wide cue, because if I do quite a bit of a wide cue, then I'm actually taking away a lot of that airiness from the top end of the EQ, and it's just trying to really position it. So I think there's going to have to be something quite surgical going on in there, and I'm not sure my brain is in the capacity at this present moment to really go into it in that much nitty gritty. So we've got the Pro EQ, we've got the filter, we've got this here. Let's take that out for a minute. I'm going to come back and do that some point later. In fact, I'm going to take the VT one out. Let's go through and let's just add a little bit of compression. Go back to the compression. Start from square one.
I'll praise you forever, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In the darkness, you see me. You make the night shine like the day. And you're always with me, and there's no and you're always with me, and there's nowhere that I can run from you, nowhere that I can hide. You're always.
Okay. It's kind of doing what I want it to do. It's just a little bit of gentle compression on the bass, just compressing the two vocals. But I'm really struggling today trying to get the translation right. I don't know if it's just my ears are maybe a bit tired. I haven't really kind of done too much this morning, but I'm really kind of struggling to kind of get to listen to the translation. I don't know if there's a fact I've had to use this stream. I've got loopback with the with my interface, but I wasn't able to use it because it started to add a little bit of kind of almost kind of distortion. I don't know if it was kind of clipping the input on the feed. But what I've done is I've gone back to the, what do we call it, the VB audio cable. And I'm just really struggling to kind of hear it properly at the moment. So I think we'll call it a day there. I'm going to hang around for about another 10 minutes or so. And we'll just kind of see if anyone's got any questions at all. I haven't been around for a little while because we've been busy doing lots of different bits and progressive sound audio. So I don't know if you guys know, I've kind of alluded to it a little while ago now. So progressive sound audio is my brand for mixing and mastering. So I wanted to kind of separate the mastering in the box away from my professional services just to create a little bit more of a clear distinction. So we've now got progressive sound audio, which is my second brand, which is what I trade as for my mixing and mastering services. And yeah, it's been. I'll tell you what. I did not realise again how much more work it was going to take to get everything set up and get everything moving. Basically, it's just an absolute minefield of marketing and you name it, website building and all sorts. But that's been taking up quite a few months of my time. But everything's pretty much now set up. We're back to normal. What would you like to see on some of these mastering tutorials moving forward? Like I said, there's going to be a mastering 101. Or do you see that? So just curious, how many of your mixing decisions are made with mastering in mind, or do you see that as a completely different stage? I try to see it as a completely different stage, to be quite honest, Ken. I always see it as one of those stages, it's like a chain of events, isn't it? So always try and get the best recording possible, try and get the best mix possible, ideally with a view to not necessarily having to do too much in the mastering stage. I mean, mastering, the way I see mastering is more of a sweetening process, and it's more, I don't want to say fixing it because it's not necessarily fixing it, but it is very much kind of, I see mastering as something, come at it with completely fresh ears, completely different mindset, and then just take a listen and try and be as objective or subjective as possible, really, to kind of just get a completely fresh perspective on it. So I don't really look at it in terms of, I don't really have mastering in mind. The only thing I will say is, I won't do too much on the master bus move before mastering, because I don't really want to kind of smash the master bus, which makes it more difficult when it comes to mastering. And obviously headroom's going to be the other one, so making sure I leave sufficient headroom that I'm not going to be either overly compressing it in the mastering stage, or vice versa is leaving too much headroom. Just trying to find a nice balance. This minus 6 dB malarkey is just, for me, it's just daft. I don't subscribe to this minus 6 dB philosophy. As long as it's really not, as long as there's a few dBs, you can still gain stage when you're mastering. If you want to use EQ and compression, you can still gain stage along the way. You don't really want to be smashing your limiters. So, I try to keep the processes as separate as possible, and try to be as objective as possible to try and get the best sound for the client, basically. But so what would you kind of like to see tutorial-wise coming up? I've got quite a few different interesting things. I've recently seen that Acoustica by Acon Digital have released the 7.4 version of Acoustica. And Acoustica is a really interesting proposition. So Acoustic is very much like, I will liken it to something like Isotope RX. So it's kind of like a restoration suite. But the interesting thing is it works with Aura. So for those who don't know, Aura is it allows you to process or edit direct to clip inside of Studio One. So if I quickly show you now, with Studio One, the things that we're still missing at the moment are things like spectral editing and some more of the advanced editing and restoration features. And you can use something like RX, but RX is very expensive. It's a great tool, but it is very, very expensive. I don't know where it sits now with some of the subscription models, but I do know last time I looked, it was around about the £1,000, $1,000 mark for what it was. So it was really, really quite an expensive feature. So if you wanted something like spectral editing using RX, you have to pay a premium. The other thing is there's no integration with Studio One. So if you wanted to use something like RX, you'd have to do it in RX and then transfer it into Studio One, which is, yeah, okay, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it is something that, from a workflow perspective, it can take quite a bit of time. So it's one of those things I've been looking for different solutions for, and I reached out to the guys at Acon Digital, and they've been kind enough to let me have basically a press pass to test the software out. And I think it's great because what it basically does is it's going to work as an event effects. And let's say, for instance, I wanted to do some, let's say if I need to do some spectral editing on the lead vocal. Now we've got the ARA compatibility. And I just want to make sure I've got this right. See what I can do here. I believe it's Alt. If I Alt and click, you'll see you've got the FX there, and this is going to add an event effect. So let's say I want to do some spectral editing to the vocal. I can add it as an event effects, wherever that is. Have I taken my finger off it too quickly? Which is not beyond the realms of possibility. Ah, there we are. Why isn't this opening? Oh, I just wonder if I do, is it hiding? No, it's not hiding. This is, I'll tell you what, this is playing some right silly buggers with me today. And now it's just deleted it. Let's try that again. I'll tell you what, let's drag that right in here. There we are. Right, so this is what we got here. And then what we can do is you can put this in different modes, different views, and then we can start to look to do some kind of spectral editing. Now I've got to try and remember, is it that one? That's the spectral view. So you can change it between like a standard view, like waveform view, and a spectral view. And then you've got some things like you can add the individual plugins, you've got enhancements, so you've got things like declip, dehum, declick, denoise, de-wind, de-rustle. So it's not just something that's great for mastering. This is going to be great for anyone who does any podcasting. Hi Johnny, hope you're well, mate. Any dialogue work, even mixing. If you've got some vocals or anything, particularly individual tracks you've got to clean up, you can now use this inside the Studio One. And you've got all these different bits there. And you've got all your tools. You've got DC offset, phase rotation, silence, and you've got all these like multi-band dynamics. So it's got so much in here. But the interesting thing is, not only is this ARA compatible, it's like 200 quid. It's. Let me have a quick look on this system here. If you get you need to get the premium version to get the spectral editing, but it's so much more. It's not even that. £169.90 for the premium edition. They do a standard edition for £49.90. That is all GBP, so that's pounds. But £169.90 compared to What's RX these days? So advanced is $11.99, which is literally just under £1,000 in GBP. Do they do the standard edition? Even the standard edition is £332. What's that dollars? So $400. So it's just a real good cost-effective alternative to something like RX that you can use in Studio One, and it's ARA compatible. Busy working my day job. I've been a wee break a bit before a meeting. Fantastic, nice. It's good to see that personas are keeping you nice and busy, Mr. Lipsham. So yeah, I'm going to do quite a bit of work on this Acon Digital, because I think it can be really good for a lot of people. I know we've got quite a large Presonus or Studio One voiceover community as well, so I'm going to do some demonstrations for various different scenarios, so you can really kind of get to grips with it. But the thing I like as well is you get all this plugin suite, so you get, once again, not all these D clips and D things like that. If you go into here, you've got dynamics, you've got equalizer, you've got a limiter, you've got multiband dynamics. You've got some reverbs as well as all of this, and you can use it in, once again, you can use it either as standalone modules or in the ARA based plugin as well. It will only work in ARA mode, so it will not work as a standard VST. So you can't use it in the project page, because the project page at the moment will not take ARA. It doesn't have ARA support. So if you need to use something like Acoustica, you would need to do it in the song page. But yeah, it's just one of those small trade-offs, but it's just a great alternative to using something like RX if you need it. What we're doing time-wise now, so it's just coming up 2 o'clock. So I'll give it another 5 minutes, and if we've got no further questions, I'll call it a day there, because I've got to go and pick the kids up from school in a little while. It's been fun doing this. I need to really kind of start getting more videos out to you guys. It's just been a little bit kind of difficult. Hopefully if we don't have Baby before, Baby will be here on Friday, which is going to be great fun. We're really looking forward to it, and looking forward to the sleepless nights. But once Baby's here and I can get the Baby settled in and Mrs Smudge all back to full health, then we'll be pretty much back to rocking and rolling with a much more regular schedule. So what we've got lined up, so we've got the Acon Digital, the Acoustica stuff, we've got the Mastering 101 series, like I say, this track Nowhere by the Billy Morgan and Friends. I'm undecided whether to do the Rich Cresswell. I'm probably going to do the Rich Cresswell mix, because he's done such a great job on it, and that's the one we used to master the, obviously we use that as the mix to master from, so I'll probably do that, and we'll do a Mastering 101. And I really want to break this down. I'll give you some concepts around loudness first, loudness last, some of the considerations, then we'll really want to break it down to what I'm listening for, and when to use certain effects, really kind of do a real good 101 series, and we'll do that. What else we got lined up? There are a few more different product things that are coming through. So I've been approached by a couple of companies to do certain product demonstrations, which I'm looking forward to do. And then we're also going to be doing some more stuff on the progressive sound audio stuff bits as well. So I think that's going to be a real thing for me. It's going to give you a bit of an update on, or an overview on progressive sound audio. So this is very much going to be most mastering in the box is focused on the mastering. PSA is going to be more focused on the information for songwriters with a more mixing slant to it. So it's kind of giving songwriters and artists information that they will hopefully benefit from, that's going to help them move it on to the next stage in mastering. So it's going to be certain techniques, certain concepts before it goes to mixing, what you can expect from the engineering side, so what happens in the mixing stage, what happens in the mastering stage, and go over some real more mixing focused concepts, as well as I'm going to start looking at some different product reviews. And you never know, you might even have the misfortune of listening to me play some guitar. I probably won't do any singing, which is you certainly won't want that. But certainly, I might have to get the old get a couple of the old 6 strings out and start creating some noise. So that's very much going to be progressive sound audio, very much more focused towards the, like I say, singer-songwriter, bands, artists, with the mixing slant to it, to kind of, yeah, to give more information that way. So is there any more questions at all before we call it a day? Thank you for Ken for joining in, and for Johnny. I will get onto another Presonus call soon. When's the next one? It's due in 2 weeks. I think I've got a free window on that one, which will be good. Now things are slowly starting to settle down a bit more, which will be great. And reconnect with quite a few of you guys, because I do miss the Friday night live streams or the live calls. So they are fantastic. Okay. All right, no worries at all. Right, we're going to call it a day. Call it a day there then. Thank you for joining me for this live stream. It's a bit more of an impromptu one. I do want to do some more of these where if there's a case of where, rather than not releasing a video at all, thanks Ken, you too, rather than not release a video at all and rather than not come up with something, sometimes I might just do these a bit more of an impromptu live stream. Just use it as a bit more of a hangout and to engage with you guys. And if you've got any questions at all, then you know, give us a chance to kind of connect a bit more, because it's very, once you do these final Friday of the month, fantastic, nice one, thanks Johnny. When you do the videos, sometimes it's easy to sit behind the camera, you do your video, you release it, and you respond to a few comments. But I do like doing the lives because it gives me a chance to engage with you guys much more, you know, in real time, and we can discuss lots of different things. And dad jokes, the more dad jokes, the better, really. So thanks for joining in. And yeah, all that's left for me to say is I hope you all keep safe and well.